I'm going to make this quick and to the point. The current construct in America, the American way, is actually a parasitic way. And it is designed to continue to keep us consumers consuming. And so this is why they don't want the truth to come out, because they have people distracted with religion, distracted with conspiracies, distracted with problems, distracted with finances, distracted with food, and now distracted with a parasite epidemic. China's already lost a lot of people. America has lost a lot of people to parasites. And scientists and doctors go missing if they try to tell you the truth. The state of Montana had a hospice room reserved for me because they did not realize the level of herbology. Like, neither one of us, I'm guessing, realized the level of herbology that I was gonna be able to get to. And so recognize the things that are over the counter are made to keep you consuming. And so they have you on a very mild dose to keep you buying that product. You're going to think that product is not working when the reason why it doesn't seem to be working is because it is a minuscule dose of the herbs that you need to be having. The American way has poisoned us. The American way has led us down a path of regret, which is exactly what they wanted. And so recognize that if it is the easier way, then it is not going to work to offload your parasites. Part of what offloads parasites is going out to the forest, being submerged in nature, and getting that yourself. It holds a different frequency that the parasites recognize. Our parasites are currently being controlled by frequencies that we do not hear. The clothes that we wear, like, I'm wearing this because I'm going to have to throw it away soon. Giving it away would be giving someone else problems. It is synthetic fabric. The electricity, the fabrics, the vehicles, the sour emotions, all of this affects the frequencies of the planet. It also affects the frequencies that we're surrounded by, and it feeds parasites as well as stirs the nest. Everybody has a nest of parasites inside of them right now. Everybody. And so we have been on a parasite construct, a parasite system. And so the parasites do not want me telling you this information, which is why I came in scrambled at the beginning of all of my content. The parasites, as well as the parasitic control system that is currently in place, is trying to block you from getting information that would help you. And if that means eliminating people like me that have that knowledge, then that's what they will do, if they can. And so if they can't eliminate us, then they block our content. They block you from getting our content. And they block the remedies. They block treatments. They block new protocols that actually help offload parasites. and they block you from understanding that they've been blocking you from this. The CDC has known this information about parasites. Everything I know about parasites, the CDC absolutely knew this. However, they utilized it to capitalize on the information instead of actually curing the parasite problem. Curing the problem does not benefit a parasitic system that feeds on its own citizens. Curing the parasites means that their whole system of things gets dismantled because they built their system on this parasite knowledge. They built it knowing that the normal human could not mentally digest the information to the point of actually curing their own parasites. There are very few people that know the information that I know, and the ones that have tried to speak up about it have gone missing. They probably have a hospice room rented somewhere for them if they're not in the dirt. And so recognize parasites are in power right now. And it is going to be detrimental to the rest of us American citizens to offload our parasites any way that we can. Whether it's parasitic systems, parasitic choices, parasitic surroundings, any kind of parasite construct, you have to offload it, or your parasites pick up on parasitic frequencies and they stay. Because they're pretty sure that you're not going to be consistent, that you're going to not be committed, that you're going to take the parasite information lightly. Because this is the American way. And if the American way is going to be bad for our health, then we need to choose a new way. It was when we were culturally inclined, cultural music, cultural language, cultural foods, cultural clothes. When we were culturally inclined, we offloaded the parasites naturally. Didn't need to know anything about them. They were going away on their own. But with the industrial era, the JP Morgan era, the Nestle, Hershey's, when all of these prefabricated products came into play, that's when health went down in society. That's when the parasitic construct took hold in America. It was elsewhere before it was here. And so it's in doing the research and seeing where these parasitic overlays have been placed into society that you actually get answers, that you can actually make that informed decision of, no, I'm not going to be a parasite, I'm not going to participate. And it is not until we choose this consciously that we can actually start to offload the bigger parasites that are laying babies' eggs, biofilm in the system. We need to pH our bodies. Our bodies are highly contaminated with chemicals, bad bacteria, now man-made parasites, mutated parasites. Our bodies are contaminated with things that our bodies were never supposed to see. And America is the fueled economy that has the most parasites on the planet, which is why we're the most parasitic country. Outside of, there are a few obvious. So recognize the parasitic construct out in the world, so you can recognize a parasitic construct that's happening inside your life. When you offload the parasitic people, you offload the parasitic habits, the parasitic foods, the parasitic programs of things, then the parasites have no choice but to leave. Your life becomes anti-parasitic, and it becomes a hostile ground for parasites. Parasites don't want to live in an environment that does not nurture them. And so this is why we have the welfare line, the whole social construct of things in America that we have today, is because it is a parasitic construct that keeps people paying into a system. The system needs you paying into it, okay? There's the whole scam, the whole scenario of, there's not going to be any Social Security for the next generation. That's a lie. That's to keep chaos and resentment amongst the people, because the resentment fuels parasites. It keeps people making parasitic decisions. And they absolutely have done the psychology on what decisions that they are pretty sure you're going to make. And so in this, the odds are stacked against us in this labyrinth of lies that the American construct has been built on. One if by land, two if by sea. Britain already took over America. They took over Canada. And they're trying to take over elsewhere too, but it's not exactly working out for them, is it? The Queen of England back in the 1600s, like, the parasitic construct is so infiltrated into history. Maybe that's where you should look for it first, because this is where addiction problems came into play, because that's how Caesar controlled the people, is by feeding the frenzy, feeding the addictions. That's how they controlled people. So this actually even goes back to Roman era, and they absolutely had a parasite problem. This is why you have people confused about their sexual orientation. It's the parasites. People have built their belief system on a parasitic belief system, and so this is why we don't even know it's true anymore. Parasites are all up in that. And so it wasn't until I started learning about other cultural beliefs that I noticed the whole parasite program happening in America. And it is a program building off of a parasitic structure of things. So when you stop to notice these things, your parasites become aware that you're aware. The spiritual awareness program that they have been running, there are two different programs. There's the program that works, and then there's the program that feeds the parasites, made to disillusion you into thinking things are true that are absolutely not true, or hiding the actual truth from you, or both. And so you cannot find the parasites in your own system until you find the parasites in our current social construct. And that requires digging in history. If you're combating parasites, you have time for this. The parasitic construct starts by taking the easy way out. If you are around people that like to take the easy way out, or if you are inclined to take the easy way out, which is also sometimes the path of least resistance. Sometimes the path of least resistance feeds your parasites. And so observe, is it truly the path of resistance, or is it the easy way out that's letting your parasites skim by? And by that, like, your parasites can live off of herbal remedies. They can build a tolerance to these things. So this is why you want to be switching things up. If you stay too consistent with the same things, then your parasites become tolerant, like you did, to the abuse. And so there are different ways in which, I can't tell if our system is trying to work for us or against us, our current system, not the system we had 4 years ago. Sometimes it looks like they're trying to help us. Sometimes it looks like they're not. But this is how we have to recognize that anything that is the easy way is parasite driven. It's parasite construct. So when the easier ways go away, we have no choice but to lose our parasites or let them overtake us. Those are the choices. And so it isn't until the government stops feeding the parasites, stops feeding into the parasitic construct, which means our welfare system goes away. This is a long-built construct. One would think that they would want a healthy society. One would think that they would want a functional society. So that leads me to believe that their parasites are absolutely making decisions for them because they can't see what is good for everybody is good for them too. And so getting back to cultural ways is the only way to legitimately offload your parasites worry-free and have fun with that, in spite of the hard work that goes with it. It's physical work, it's mental work, but it's not the same as going to work. Understand that. They want you preferring to show up for a job rather than figuring that out, because then that puts them in a seat of control over other people, which is exactly what they do want. They don't want you figuring things out on your own, because that means that you're not spending your money being a consumer. They need you consuming, which is why they need you to have parasites. So recognize this. If you're being led down a path of being a consumer even more so, then the products might not be working. It's all in how you choose to use what you know that you can make a difference. Because if you do nothing with what you know, then you make no difference.